So what happened was you all opened the chest that was brought to the bandits' show and tell. And inside the chest, you found a number of things. More or less, it was mostly potions that remained intact, but what wasn't intact was about a dozen or less parasites. And so these parasites were kind of like this rat monstrosity. It was like a rat being injected with some kind of blood-altering concoction. And so ideally, you suggested, as Laszlo, to help, discern what they were made out of. So with Bruce's help, as well as the rest of your party, you were able to successfully capture one of them, the others dying alongside a beheaded bandit. Does anybody remember his name? Inspiration, if you remember his name.
Wasn't important.
That's a weird name.
Nope.
That guy was a red shirt.
Well, after successfully capturing the rat parasite and looting a couple of corpses, to say the least, and preventing, the spread of the parasite into the aquifer itself, which would have been very interesting, there happened to be an encounter in the forest. You all fought off some mosquitoes, and I even have a good picture of what they look like for your benefit. This is what he looked like. That's an actual art from Kobold Press. And so...
Hell yeah, Kobold Press.
Yeah, they have these giant suckers. They're basically like goblin-sized mosquitoes. And so you all successfully deterred them from killing a Wapeltinger, whom looks like a rodent mixed with... it had like insect wings, and it also had antlers on its head. They seem to be some kind of mystical creature around these parts. You don't really catch them too often. Even Alonso was able to kind of like give you a little bit of backstory. They're essentially a rarity. They're kind of like an alchemical, like natural occurrence. It's kind of like arcane is infused with like the birth of a rabbit under a full moon. And then you get back to the inn, you bed down for the evening, just trying to rest off of the many wounds that you acquired. And in the middle of the night, Laszlo, you were able to discern that someone was trying to poison you. And having understood exactly what that poison was, you drank it. It happened to be the same poison you gave to Smith & Wesson. And he was trying to pay you back. So it was ironic. Yeah, and so you woke up feeling even more refreshed. And so at Milo's behest, you were to now make your way to the Great Tree. And you can see it in the distance. However, it is quite frankly a horrendous version of a forest right now. You're kind of walking through these colorful trees that seem to be drained of life. They're very desaturated, and you can see that thorns and fungi are growing where they shouldn't, and they're kind of like lashing out at you as you're walking past. Everybody go and make a perception check. You're looking over at the Gaia tree in the distance.
What was
I see this druid lady over here.
What was the stuff that I got from? It was an insect wing and what else?
And a Anopheloid claw. So the spelling of which I will give for you.
I also don't know how to add this into my inventory.
You are able to create items. So if you all would like to attempt to, the items directory, it's basically where you can find your spells and such. You would write, it's up at the top. There should be a create items button. If not,
there we go.
Yeah, if not, just let me know and I can help.
Awful.
Yeah, there's the spelling in chat. Yeah, there's the spelling in chat. However, Laszlo, with your perception, you were able to accurately note that you're getting very close. There happens to be like some kind of home in between you and the tree, and it's almost as if there's like a cliff face that this home is attached to that rises up one extra, maybe like 30 to 50 feet, and that's where the tree base itself is resting. And the tree itself is maybe 300 feet tall, and it has jagged crystals just jutting out of the trunk, as well as many of the roots, some of which are visible from this distance, but you can tell just from the faint glimmers that there are smaller ones. It seems to be kind of coated in these crystals. And you're all aware now that this is called Terra Gaia. It is essentially offspring of the main tree, where the city of Gaia is. And so that tree itself is just called Gaia. So you're all walking through what appears to be the entrance of this decrepit forest, and you hear the squawking of what appears to be some kind of mad bird, and it's heading in your direction. And overall, with your perception checks, you understand that there's maybe like the beatings of 2 wings. What would you all like to do?
Look up some bushes and try to hide.
Yeah, get under a tree or a mushroom or anything like that.
Seeing my friends hide, I hide under a mushroom.
Yeah,
Hide on whatever thing I can get underneath.
Okay, everybody make perception checks. Or, I'm sorry, stealth checks. Stealth checks.
With disadvantage.
Oh, damn, I forgot to ask. Hey, does anybody have some spare leather armor? I'm going to strip right here, right now.
I know, I'm so close to do that. We need to get to a town soon.
And so, in a moment's notice, you all successfully, save for Laszlo, are able to find a large tree or fungi that you're able to hide your full body behind. Except Laszlo, every time he goes for one of these hiding spots, one of you claim it before he can. And he's just too slow in order to claim his own. And so, Laszlo, you are currently the only one standing out in the open as a giant bird crashes before you.
Did it sound human when it crashed?
Yeah, it definitely had a voice. And it's currently, it has a bloodied wing, and it's kind of like limping a little bit. It's trying to pick itself off the ground at the moment.
I'll cautiously approach it and say, "Are you all right?"
Please, you must come quick.
And you hear in the distance the other set of wings. Sister, please, don't bother these individuals. We don't know if they're friend or foe.
Please help.
What's wrong? Like, I want to examine their wing. I want to like approach and just like, see what I can see. See if I can see what's going on with this bird.
Sure. Does it have a human face? What does it look like?
It's an error code.
Okay.
Yeah, so these are like half human, half bird hybrids. And so you all get a good glimpse of them from your hiding spots. And the brother of which you can tell, and this can be either you you can step out and greet them, or if you want to like make checks, maybe like to discern if they're friend or foe, that would be an insight. Or if you want to learn more about the race, that would be history. Like if there's anything those of you hidden would like to do, please feel free. And Laszlo, if you're looking at their wounds, please roll a medicine check.
Yeah, I'll insight. Nice.
I'd like the perception just like from where they came from to see if I can see anything following them.
Sure, please do. Yeah.
I don't have proficiency, but I'll do a history check.
Okay. And so, Bruce, you are certain that they are on their way out and that something bad has happened. And they seem to be friendly in the sense that, like, they wouldn't actively look to harm a group not only of your size, just that's not their nature. And you can glimpse that. They're not like bandits, so to speak. And then Laszlo, looking at their wings, you can tell that maybe like some healing magic would definitely like remedy the situation, but they appear very frightened, very startled. They seem to be kind of like desperate for help. Alonso, you're looking in the direction they are not being followed. There seems to be more to the story. And what you can glimpse is that it was the forest that had attacked them. And Salvatore, these are Aarakocra. I'll spell it out.
Bird people.
Bird people. Bird persons. That's what they prefer.
Obviously, bird persons.
Yes.
I'll step out.
You can tell by
Yeah, I'll
Sure.
join him. I'll move towards him.
Laszlo, you can say.
Seeing that they're injured, yeah, I just want to like kind of try to calm them down. Be like, I'm a doctor. Let me help. Let me help.
Please, please, anything helps. Anything. I can't believe what just happened. My husband, he's been something assaulted us from below. It was like a puff of gas, and it took us, and he saved us by ensuring our survival, and I was barely able to escape.
Sister, please. We can't bother them. We must go.
Did I has there been a short rest or anything, like when I last left? Was I able to make a potion or anything like that?
Yeah, if you roll your experimental elixir, go ahead and roll that. So you have a transformation potion on you.
Okay. In that case, I guess I'll just use a spell slot and I'll cast Cure Wounds on the injured Arakoa. I'll take out my little gauntlets things and.
Very well. So you have chosen death. I'm sorry, life. You've chosen life. But I am also drag and dropping your new potion into your inventory, so it is there when you want it. And so you watch Laszlo kind of rub his hands together, and this discharge begins to form. And as you approach the Aarakocra, you can tell that she has an affinity for magic and arcana, but she's a little startled at first. You're coming at her with electricity. She's a bird. That's, super weakness, super effective. And so as you get close...
White electricity.
Right. It does have a healing tinge to it as an alchemist, as a doctor. And so you note... in your eyes, there's kind of like pity, and she has that connection with you that you want to help her, and that does mean a lot. And so any charisma checks you have with her, you now have one advantage. And so she looks at you and she receives thy health.
Oh, thank you. So, what is your name? I'm Sabrina.
I'm Laszlo Remington.
Well, you see, my husband, he's fallen in the forest, and well, we were on our way out. We were sent here by Zenith, the city for the Librans, and we were to scout the tree and to determine and discern what might be the cause of all this misfortune about the area. And my husband desperately, he saved our lives, to say the least.
And the other Aarakocra will speak up.
Are you sure he's dead?
My husband?
Yes, I mean, maybe if we go back for him real quick, we could potentially save him. I mean, how long ago was it that he helped you escape?
Sir, this just happened. A big puff of gas. I'm sure you're aware of the death and decay about the area. This gas knocked us all unconscious, and in a split second, he was able to awaken myself and my brother here, so we could get away, and I just watched his vines. They seemed to just wrap around his body and pull him down, and he called out for us to just go, to flee.
What does your husband look like?
And this is when the other Aarakocra chimes in. Well, sir, he kind of looks like us.
He's not like a cockatiel or like a flamingo.
You have a bard among you, I see. Sir, he's a bird, and he looks much like, well, us. He has good plumage. He's very well endowed. And this is me speaking for my sister. And you watch as she blushes. And you note that not like in the sense of genitals, but just like peacocking, as in like he has feathers that would attract a mate. And you can tell that kind of thought goes over all of your heads, and it's kind of like it's like you had to think about it for a second. Like, is that what he meant?
It's a little more descriptive than I thought, but yeah, anything to help us find him would be helpful.
Oh yes. What? Well, sir, I hate to say it, but my sister here, she had to land immediately, and well, I looked back, and I'm afraid with the state we were in, having left the tree and being chased out by some mad man, some raving monster, that we had to make our way out of the forest as soon as possible. You see, my sister, she's out of spell slots, and I personally, all I have are 5 arrows.
What kind of monster?
Can I
was
borrow those arrows if you're fleeing?
Make a persuasion check, Alonso, and Laszlo, what are you asking?
When you say monster, what exactly was chasing you?
Well, we would consider it a demon with how it looked like, and, well, it seemed as if it was commanding this fungi, and these beetles seemed to like pour out of its mouth and seemed to swarm around us as we were investigating the inner trunk of the Gaian tree. It was a gruesome sight. I wouldn't recommend it. However, I don't know what to ask of you all. I don't know why you're here, but if you can find my sister's husband and give him a proper burial, you would be doing us an honor. And you watch as the female Aarakocra, she begins to weep. As she is very aware of the fate that has befallen her husband.
We'll bring justice to your husband.
Salvatore turns to Milo and says, you can see how this is predicament is. Could happen to anybody. It's definitely a worthwhile cause. A small detour.
Milo looks at you. You can tell his jaw was kind of like shaking, shivering. Alonso, by the way, you're walking over to the male Aarakocra, and he hands you his arrows because he nods to you, knowing that he won't use them. And so Milo, jaw shivering, he looks over at you. Salvatore, someone has peed my pants.
That is most unfortunate. I'm so glad it was not you, though. So, perhaps we can save these kind birthday boys.
Yes, of course. I think that is the dutiful thing to do. And as fellow researchers or scouts, and he kind of like looks over at these bird persons and kind of like has never had like a communication of sorts with them, so he's unaware of, you know, their comings ups or why they're here. Like they might not have the same arcane purpose as he did, for example. And well, I think 2 birds with 1 stone. And you note that they seem offended and they kind of like brush it off, but he seems very taken aback. He didn't mean it as like a jab at them. I mean, we can do the one thing, we can multitask. That's the word.
How far is your husband from the tree?
Well, we watched him fall just outside of the entrance to that decrepit home. It seemed as though the warden, he used to live there, and well, we went to meet him, and he wasn't there. He wasn't there to greet us, to show us to the tree, and that alone was a bad omen.
And she's wiping tears from her eyes.
All right. See, 2 birds, 1 stone.
And so
Do you think it's good?
No,
What
please
was
go
that?
ahead. Please go ahead.
It sounds like the ranger's hut would probably be a good place to start.
Yeah, well, if we need to get this sapling to the trunk, we're going to have to clear that area anyway. And if his body's nearby, maybe we'll find him on the way.
This sounds like it is time sensitive. Perhaps we should move immediately.
I agree.
Well,
Let's get going.
thank you all. Is there anything we can do for you? Any supplies you might need? We're heading back home to Zenith, the land of the Libra, and of course, should you ever encounter us, we personally have done our jobs, and well, we're assigned office duty for the next few months, and this is not a good day. This is not a good day, but maybe in the future we could be of service, if not now.
Okay, but I think it's kind of odd that you're leaving your husband. I feel like you would morally want to follow behind us in pursuit.
Do you see the state we're in, sir?
Well, we'll find him. We'll find him, and we will bury him honorably, and we will make sure that we let you know about it. We will not let it go. We will not let him go unnoted, and we will not let you go without the knowledge of his burial. So do not worry about that. Yeah, beautiful bird lady. And
I apologize.
I do want to ask though, what kind of armor are y'all wearing out there? I like looking up and down.
Oh, this raggedy old thing? Well, I'm a cleric, and I prefer the cloth, and so I'm wearing a tunic. What are you wearing?
Oh, I meant more your brother, not you necessarily. I don't really fit ladies' clothes quite as well.
Yeah, you watch as the brother kind of like comforts the sister, who is having kind of this weird like panicking, doesn't know how to like communicate. She's grieving, but she's also, in that state of shock at the same time. And while he, gently comforts her, he steps aside. Are you saying you need armor? You seem very well equipped.
Oh yeah, man. I'm just stuff's really heavy, and I can just move a little bit better. I don't know. I've been training a lot, and I can't try something else. But honestly, if it's not studded leather armor, you can keep
it. I'm afraid it is not. We must keep light, and so I'm wearing what you would call leather armor. It's not studded, if that's what you intend.
Well, that would make me too vulnerable, friend. I appreciate it though. You are a kind and giving soul.
Could you just push some studs into it?
Nah, man. I'm not a. Well, we do have a craftsman with us. Hey, you know what? Keep it. Don't worry about it. It's still much work. Keep your armor. We'll find some later.
Alonso, you're plenty studly to me.
You know what? I appreciate that.
No homo. As your kind say.
Thank you again. You are doing us quite the honor. Please, any memorabilia on my husband is, well, it's yours to keep. We, in our culture, we must press forward, for without death, there is no life. And so, please, whatever you find is yours, but give him a proper burial. That is all I ask. He risked his life, and it saved us. But if it so pleases you, please, here is my Gmail address.
Oh.
And so she hands Laszlo her Gmail address, basically touching your runestone. Gmail stands for Gemini, and so it's a way to communicate with her over long distances.
So a question, is this like, when you say proper burial, is it like a proper bird burial, or like we just put a hole in the ground, or do we need to like make a nest for him or something?
Well, and this is the brother speaking, our methods might not be applicable for your subspecies, no offense, but we usually take them to an aerial burial site, and from on high we scatter their ashes. We don't believe you are capable of doing those things, of course, no offense. So if you have a proper burial method, that is more than adequate.
Burn them and collect the ashes. Easy enough. And then we'll give them to you.
Thank you again.
If only we had someone that could control flame.
A water burial it is.
So this is your
All right, we'll see to it.
last chance for like any, I guess, immediate supplies. Maybe they have something. Maybe there's something you need. Otherwise, they're gonna just let you step past. You can see about you, there's plenty of herbs, so to speak. Also, lots of fungi. So those of you that are proficient in that type of herbalism, you are more than welcome to attempt. You'll notice them throughout the map. So if you find one, you're welcome to roll for it.
Am I proficient in herbalism?
I'd like.
Is there like a proficiency for herbalism?
Yeah, it's a herbalism kit.
I think
I don't have one of those, I don't think.
I mean, but your alchemist supplies help you with it in some way.
Yeah, you would still be able to roll for it.
I'll look for
Okay.
some herbs.
But I was gonna say I'd like to look for something that I could. Well, hold on. Laszlo, with your alchemical supplies, would you potentially be able to make a poisonous mushroom into a poisonous a brew that I can dip my herbs into? That's something you might be able to do.
I mean, I can sure try. I'm more of the saving lives type, but I know my way around a couple of poisons.
Yeah, and those that know how to save lives know how to take them too, buddy. Don't play dumb with me. All right. Well, anyway, yeah. I would like to DM. I would like to look for poisonous mushrooms, please.
Sure, go ahead and roll a nature check. And Salvatore, what's up?
Salvatore would like to persuade the Arakoa or Araquaquana or whatever, there of anything of use that could help us.
What's the roll I need to make for the
So you can use your alchemical supplies. So if you click that, and then it'll put it in chat, and that's when you click it there. And so, Alonso, you're able to find what you would assume are poisonous mushrooms. And so as you get closer to them, you kind of like carefully dissect them. You take the caps off of the stool itself, and you watch as it kind of like squirms in your hands before eventually losing all life itself. And it kind of like shrivels up, but you note that when ground down, it might create some kind of powder that could be used as poison. And then you'll, use alchemist supplies is the button you want to click. And then Salvatore, you walk up and you are trying to convince them to give you some kind of substance or item, anything that might be applicable. Like, what would you like to say?
If you have anything to assist us on this journey, it would be much appreciated, as well as increasing our odds of able to recover your husband.
Yes, sir. I do have this healing potion. I insist that you take it, and I hope it will do you well. Again, thank you, young goblin, for your help. You have brought a great comfort to my sister. Her wing is now fully functioning. We might be able to make it to a safe location before nightfall. And you all look up at the sky, and it's very difficult to see the sun. You can see that there's almost like a mist that is hanging above you all, and it's got like a yellow tinge. And those of you that are proficient in nature understand that it might be spores that are in the air.
Ooh.
Anytime. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help anyone out that I can.
Ooh. Salvatore turns to Bruce and he says, I have a feeling you'll be needing this, and gives him the health potion.
I'll tuck it into an empty little part of my utility belt.
Here, try and pick that up, Bruce, right next to you. And then
Pick
Laszlo, you should be able to click it.
This is an RPG, bro.
Yo, that's dope.
And then Laszlo, you two are able to go to the same location that Alonso had pointed out. These are poisonous mushrooms, and you are more than welcome to them. You yourself, using proper tools, Alonso being careful as he was, you have, objects that are, specifically able to pinpoint the alchemical properties as well as seize the ingredients that would be most potent. You're able to cork them before the oxygen itself gets to them. So you have 2 of these same poisonous mushrooms. And so,
all right.
I froze up a little bit earlier, but I was wanting to look for some herbs.
Okay.
My herbalism kit doesn't work the same way as that.
yeah, no, you're perfectly in the realm of your expertise as a druid. You have proficiency with an herbalism kit, which is meant to, find and contract the properties that would be most beneficial. And he's gone.
Oh no. By the way, Chris, you have the rat in the bag.
I have the what?
The rat in the flask is in your bag of holding.
Oh boy.
Here, it's right there if you want to pick it up. That thing. I picked it up for you. So while we're taking this quick hiatus, yeah, Allan, by the way, I don't know if anybody else can hear his microphone. He's very robotic.
Yes, he is very incredibly robotic.
So I don't know if there's anything you can do
There
to
he
fix that.
is.
Has it been like that the whole time?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we
To
were
varying
carrying
degrees.
on. Yeah, we were carrying on. I don't know if there's anything you could do to fix it. But Dylan, if you're having trouble, you can also turn off your video and you can still be in the call. I don't know if that'll help
See if
you.
that works.
Okay. But yeah, if you mouse over your profile picture. And so both the Aarakocra, they take a moment to rest, and then they look about themselves, and they actually see a corpse kind of being placed back into the forest itself. It's almost as if the tree is starting to consume it. You watch as very prickly vines have like pulled it, just kind of like poked its head out, and then kind of like poked its head back in, almost as if some kind of like trickster or like fey spirit was kind of like teasing and toying with you all. And so, taking a glimpse of that, both of them decided that they needed to keep moving, and having, you know, the courage to press forward, as well as an extra little bit of healing, they were able to press on. And so they make a couple steps on foot, and then with a giant leap, they take flight. Their wings, brilliant plumes, by the way, mostly red, white, and yellow, begin to flap and fly. They're moving rather quickly. They're making good speed because they're not wearing studded leather armor. And so they make their way out of the forest, and you all are left with the scene of, well, a corrupted forest. What would you like to do?
Head
Actually,
to the tree.
Going to roll initiative. So you all can
Ask them the ranger's hut.
Yeah, are we going to the hut?
Are we taking a short break, or are we just heading there? Because it's like, is it getting close to dark, or is it not?
It is, as far as you know, and someone might want to roll for this.
Whoa, what is
Essentially, mid-afternoon.
Mid-afternoon.
Yeah, that's just adding the decibel number for tiebreakers. I don't like the look of it, so I'm gonna turn it off.
this? Okay.
All right.
Also, if you
we're
know,
not gonna take a break, then I won't sit down to try to like craft that poison that Alonso wanted from me.
I'm sure there will be time for breaking. You can also, take one before you go in. That's perfectly applicable. If you didn't note, you can mouse over people's tokens and you can see a little picture.
It's sick. I love it.
Okay.
I'm hitting initiative and nothing's happening.
You have already rolled it, is why.
Oh, well, that makes sense. I didn't know I did.
Yeah, it didn't pop up in chat. I think that's because I adjusted the tie-breaking rule. Okay, so what?
All right, can you guys hear me now?
You sound very
Yes.
clear. Thank you.
All right, back to my original microphone.
So, what would you like to do? We are.
Oh, then I need to roll for initiative.
Yep, please do.
Oh yeah, I gotta roll for initiative.
Weak.
I forget where initiative is. Things in different spots now.
Yeah, there's multiple ways to
It's
do
in
it.
your character. Next to strength.
Next to
Mhm.
strength.
You can also pop out the combat tracker. It's there, and you can click the dice, or you can click your token, and it'll be in that little HUD menu on the very far right.
How do you get you guys to
I'm
show
not
your
finding-
little
Any of this shit.
dexterity bonus?
Oh, I turned that off because it looked ugly. That's basically for tiebreakers, anyway.
No, I know. Ooh, hot
Hello.
damn.
Great. So Laszlo, you have the charge. You're kind of like following your nose, walking through the forest, understanding that there is alchemy to be found. What would you like to do?
And do I know the vague direction of where the tree is, or like
Yes,
we
the tree
wanted to go find?
would be heading this direction. So your party is kind of like the center. So if you're heading that direction,
What direction?
can you see this arrow?
I'm not seeing anything that you do. Oh yeah.
So you would go, the tree is that direction.
Okay. I guess I will. Where's my character?
On a mushroom. He's so tiny.
I can't even see him. Oh, there it is.
Yep. There you go, I made you glow.
Blend in.
So, stop right there. You're looking straight eastward. You see these bright blue crystals. And you can tell that there's a woman that is tied up over here. And she seems to have, like, hairy legs and hooves.
God, shave. No,
Yeah. Yeah. I should add the hooves first, not just the hairy legs. Please, what are you doing?
does she look like she's in trouble? Like, is there anyone else or anything like threatening or hostile around her?
So far from where you're standing, you're welcome to move closer. The crystal light kind of like bathes other figures, but this is the only target, or creature, I should say, that you can see quite clearly.
All right, I'll move a little bit closer.
And so, as you move closer, you can see that she's chained up, and that there are two other prisoners of sorts, as well as an individual that looks to be behind a great stone slab of an altar.
Okay. Can I use an action to like? Well, actually, I want to beckon my party over, but then I want to like hide
Okay.
as like my action.
So as you all move up behind Laszlo, go ahead and make a stealth check.
Everybody?
Yeah, everybody makes stealth checks.
I need to get new armor.
Nice. Yeah, your party is very well hidden, save for Laszlo, who kind of stumbles over one of the bright illuminated crystals that are kind of like jutting out of the ground. You note that the figure behind the altar raises his head and looks up over at you in your direction. Is there any way you want to like completely hide yourself? But while he's doing that, everybody else
Play dead.
Yeah, sure, why not? Everybody else may make their position in this box, wherever you'd like to be. But you are stealthed. You are not seen.
Ooh.
I'd like to get in the trees if I could.
I like how you can see the pictures.
Yeah, I'll just go like behind the trunk of said tree.
It's not letting me get inside the tree.
You want to be inside the tree. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
One with the forest man. Just because
Okay.
I'm a mountain. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. So as you appear to be kind of like hiding behind these bushes, there's definitely a musk in the air that conceals your footsteps, as well as, like the croaking of frogs, as well as kind of like bugs kind of like skirting about the ground. You can even hear like a faint hiss in the back. But you do note that there are footsteps heading your direction as Laszlo decides to play dead. He's currently prone, by the way.
Yeah, I'll take a little bit of like I'll take a chunk out of one of the poison mushrooms I added, like I bit out of it and like have it in my hand. Just, like, play dead.
Okay.
So, where is that coming from?
There are footsteps heading from this direction. Over here. And you can see this figure who seems to be
Okay.
wearing like
It sounds very much like Naruto music. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely Naruto heading your direction. Except Naruto doesn't look like that. And so this individual whom
Cool
you
character.
you all get a good glimpse of. Go ahead and make a religion check as he begins to approach. Who goes there? Wow, he rolled high initiative.
What are we oh, religion check.
Ooh.
Do I get the sense that he's seen me?
Was almost an 8.
Double checking your stealth, 16. No, at the moment he doesn't spot you. He's currently focused on Laszlo at the moment. And so out of all of you, Kai, you understand that this is a warlock. Although you can't really discern what, pact or patron he might have. And so as he begins to approach, he gets as close as here. Move no forward. Move no closer. Any more forward, and I will take the head off your shoulders. This is not the right music for this. As he goes full 9 Fox. Okay. So I'm gonna have you all do kind of like roleplay stealth reactions, and then we'll start combat should that happen. But you don't have to have that happen. So Salvatore, what would you like to do?
Ooh, I turn to Kai and I say, "Do you sense the forces of evil?"
I think that this guy is up to no good here.
Well, if evil is afoot, a blood hunter's duty is only to destroy it. And sadly, I'm sorry, guys. Salvatore's gonna make a rash decision. He's gonna shoot a crossbow bolt over at the warlock.
That's what he does.
19 does hit. Yeah. And 7 piercing damage. You watch as while Laszlo, what's your best playing dead noise and or action, Laszlo?
Trick question.
That's my playing dead.
Okay, so as he begins to press forward, you watch as his staff begins to glow with like this violet light. An arrow streaks through the spory fog, impacting him straight in the shoulder blade, and he lets loose a readied action at you, Laszlo, because you are currently on the ground.
Oh no.
Constitution save.
Oh
yeah,
no.
you didn't really take much. And then yeah, we'll continue combat. But yes, Salvatore, that did hit. You have your bonus, by the way, if you'd like to use it.
Hey.
Ooh, I'll use my blood curse of binding as my bonus action.
Okay. So his blood will begin to curdle and start to seize up. And so that'll be a strength save.
Holy
which he
crap!
immediately breaks out of. You watch as his buff muscles begin to tighten. Ooh, that tingled. What was that?
Not only is evil strong, evil is swole.
All right, Alonso, what would you like to do?
Well, I guess we started combat already. I'm gonna go ahead and mark him with a planar warrior and take a shot. But actually, hold on. Before I do so, I would like to try to stealthily move even farther behind him. I understand it might be difficult terrain, so I can only move 15 feet.
Yeah, roughly.
Could you move me 1, 2, 3 diagonal, like on top of that? Can I mark stuff on the map, or am I allowed to do that?
If you hold X, that'll be an arrow.
I want to put this mushroom right here.
Okay, I'm glad everybody has an arrow now. So Alonso is making his way to that arrow.
Get up there.
So overall, like you with 25 feet of movement,
fairly
you
low?
do not get 15. But yes, I would like for you to make a nature check, as you're now grasping trees that you once climbed as a kid, but they seem to be covered in thorns. There's poisonous mushrooms, whom you've discerned are now much more common than usual. So make a nature check. Yeah, you make it all the way there.
Sweet.
Kind of like monkeying around with very deft silence. You kind of wrapped your hands in bandages before making the leap. But yeah, you're right there. What would you like to do?
Now I'm gonna mark him with planar warrior and take a shot.
Okay. So as he begins to to glow with an amber hue. You watch as an arrow streaks through the darkness. Which, by the way, it's not even dark out. It's afternoon. It's just the sun itself is blocked out, and it's kind of this eerie, dim fog that's illuminating the land around you. I don't know why I didn't roll the damage for longbow.
Yeah. And I accidentally used another arrow. I'll put that back myself. Let's see, normal damage.
Okay, well, we'll take that
it did
piercing
that
damage.
time, I guess.
Yeah, that'll be 5 and 8. So you watch as the sheer force of the arrow, not even having a bludgeoning kind of like impact, you watch as it kind of, there's like a current that follows the arrow, just completely knocking him off one of his feet. What the bloody... Is that your turn?
That's my turn.
Kai, what would you like to do?
I would like to cast Moonbeam. Where was that guy?
Ooh.
Right on him. Oh, shoot.
Okay.
There we go. Sorry, there we go.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so he'll make a Constitution save. And it looks as though he fails as he's looking around for this arrow, and his eyes kind of look upward as a beam just immediately shines straight down on him. Oh,
This guy's getting fucked.
but yeah, 5 foot around, it kind of like encapsulates him, and it's almost as if he's under a spotlight.
Sweet.
That is burning him alive with
That's cool.
nature energy. Yeah, that's fun. He's beginning to the beam itself hasn't even ceased. It's something that you're concentrating on. But you watch his blood's beginning to fall down, kind of like he's sweating, but it's literally blood pouring out of his pores. Holy fuck! This is Milo speaking. Was that right? He looks over at the druid. I thought you were a pacifist!
It seems like this guy is up to no good in this forest, so we are here to make things right in this forest, aren't we?
Okay, I will also jump to conclusions. Go, bam! And you watch as the arrow streaks over, almost hitting this poor dryad, whom you now all know as a dryad. Bruce, what would you like to do?
I don't know what this light is, so I'm gonna try to go around it.
Okay.
Oh shit, am I too close to the trees? Hold on.
Yeah, it's a very narrow path.
15, 20, 25, 30. So I mean, I guess I'd have to enter it to punch him in the face, right?
Yeah, as soon as your fists would go inside of it, you'd note that, something might happen.
Oh shit. Yeah, fuck it. I'll do it. Okay, let's hit the motherfucker.
Bruce, no!
Skedaddle!
Okay. And so, yes, you land a square punch right in his jaw, and it basically goes unhinged, and as you hear a sickening crack echo throughout the forest, 5 bludgeoning damage. You do need to take a saving throw, Constitution. If you scroll up, it's right under the moonbeam. You can have your token selected and click that. You do fail it, so you take 17 radiant damage.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Is that how spells like that work?
Oh my god.
As soon as
Okay.
you enter it, and he's a... Your arm, you pull back, and basically where your clothes begin and end, it was seared off through radiant light.
Jesus. This was where I get the inspiration for the bat signal.
I love it.
No.
You also have your bonus action.
No. I'm not doing anything else after that.
Okay, sounds
I'm
good.
not putting any more of my limbs inside of that light.
So Laszlo, you watch as this warlock is beginning to get mad. He's starting to fume, and he's trying to like push out of this moonbeam. What would you like to do?
I'll be on the ground. I'll peek open with one eye, and then just like take up my crossbow and shoot.
Okay. Great. Yeah, you are at prone, and so trying to attack while prone is disadvantage. However, you can stand up and then, play dead again.
Wasn't there something about proning being like good for shooting?
Yes, and it's what I just mentioned. You can stand up, shoot, and then go back prone. So prone can be a defensive position.
Oh no, I'm just gonna stay prone while I shoot, so I'll do it disadvantage.
Okay. Yeah, prone can be used
Where's the advantage toggle?
if you hold control, it will be disadvantage. You're shooting with disadvantage. And so 14 does still hit. And so as you basically open one eye, you pull out your crossbow and you kind of wanted style, making a dirt angel. Fling! Like the arrow flies true, sinking him straight in the gullet. And you watch as he spits out a little bit of blood. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Let me
And then I go back down to like like playing dead.
Okay.
Like I didn't do anything. But I don't know what the damage is. I don't know why it's not showing that.
Yeah, let me turn it off differently to where it's basically doing both. So for his turn, that's all you wanted to do, right?
Yeah. How much damage did I do though?
6, if that's okay with you.
Cool.
All right, and so as he pulls this crossbow bolt out of his gullet, he'll take a couple steps back, which, by the way, he is now out of the moonbeam, so Bruce, you can totally take a attack of opportunity if you'd like.
Yes, please. Ooh.
So yeah, you smack him in the back of the head with a quick judo chop, and he's basically walking back over to the altar, completely caught off guard, hunchback style. And he gets over to the altar. He cracks his neck. The skull kind of like twisted and cracked on his head, and it seems to kind of like shatter. He looks over back at you all, and you can tell his face is completely covered in what appears to be like arcane sigils and tattoos. You'll pay for this. And he grabs this runic knife that is resting on this altar. And there's a skull with 3 eyes right adjacent to it. He holds the skull, placing it on his head. Anyone is welcome to use the reaction to do something here.
Wait, hold on, let me see.
I parry his skull placing on his head.
From 30 feet away.
And so
Can I move my moonbeam as a reaction? My turn.
No, unfortunately not. And so, with dagger in hand, he cuts his neck. Yeah, I'll say he cuts his neck, and it pours over the skull. And he clatters to the floor, and the skull begins to pulse with a demonic light.
Oh my.
Not okay.
I say to Salvatore, definitely pretty evil.
Oh yeah, bro. I got the later. I just needed your little influence.
Okay, so you all...
Reaction. Salvatore, free the prisoners!
You got it, boss.
Alright, so you're watching as this entity begins to form, kind of like congeal around the skull. Basically, all the blood that's pouring out of this warlock's corpse is now coalescing onto the skull, and it's creating what appears to be a body of its own. You all are welcome to get closer. We can go through the order, and we'll restart back at Laszlo. So, Salvatore, is there anything you'd like to do?
I would like to head to the nearest prisoner. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. All right, we're good. And I'm going to go ahead and free, or she's like locked up with like locks that I would need to pick.
Yeah, she's currently chained down to this crystal.
Hot.
Ooh.
Break the chains!
Salvatore for a second thinks, I don't know if I want to break these chains. Oh, no, I don't know. Can I break the chains?
Oh, there's your token. I was looking for
Or
it.
would...
You could totally try to break them, sure.
Or would... I mean, I'm just... I don't know. Just out of ignorance, I'm asking. Would picking be better?
You have claws, and I am totally cool with allowing you to do that.
All right. Oh, I do have one use of my thieves tools left.
Yeah, if you fail it, they break. That's all.
Oh.
Okay. I will...
The last bobby pin.
I'm gonna use my last bobby pin.
Does that mean his nails can break too?
Technically, yes, but he'll get those back.
They're perfectly manicured.
So now,
And I use my thieves tools.
yeah, please click those.
With normal. Fuck.
However, these chains seem to be very weak. They're very rusted. They're kind of like attached to this crystal out of sheer convenience. They weren't really like brought to, like a very strong individual. It seems as though this woman who is completely drained of blood, mind you, as you get a closer glimpse at her, she's kind of like, she tilts her head over at you, and you can see that most of her face is flush. It's very pale, and she kind of looks as though she's on death's row. But you do pop off her shackles.
Blood is my specialty.
Okay, is that your turn?
Can I bonus action to try and break the chains? Obviously not.
Well, no, you successfully took the shackles off. They were very weak. Yeah.
Shit.
So a 10 was the DC pretty much. So you succeeded.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
I don't have any bonus action, so I pat her on the face like,
Okay.
like wake up, pretty lady.
And for the sake of logistics, your light crossbow has been put away. And so as you're helping this woman to her feet, you turn around and you can see this skull has essentially, its chest is now at bust height. Alonso, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna try to free this mushroom man.
Okay. And so yeah, you get closer, you see these chains. If you want to try and break them, you may.
I'm trying to think. Are there any like rocks or anything nearby I can try to break the chains with?
There is currently a mushroom that is kind of like spewing poison. It seems very potent.
Honestly, it might be better to just try to take a shot at it. I know it's probably a high AC or whatever, but I'm just gonna try to take a shot at the not at his wrist, but like above, where the chains meet the stone.
Okay. Go ahead and make an attack at disadvantage.
Got it.
It's an easy target. And yeah, you're able to successfully kind of like pinpoint the weak spot in these chains. And while you didn't essentially take the shackles off of this person, who seems to be a person, he's basically a fungi meshed with a human, you'll have to ask him a couple questions.
He does not seem like a fun guy.
Yeah. He's a sad guy. And he too looks as though he's been kind of like drained dry of his essences, or what might, like be under the hood, so to speak. And so the arrow itself shatters on impact, but you do note that he kind of like falls forward, being freed. However, there are chains still dangling from his hands.
Okay. Yeah, I can't really do anything with the bonus action with that, so I will just Could I mark the thing that's compiling in front of me with my hunter's mark, or would that be too early?
It is not.
Creature yet?
Yeah, it's not currently a creature. It's kind of like forming, so to
Okay.
speak. Yep.
Okay.
You can move though if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no, because I want to try to pick up this mushroom person. Well, yeah, I'll move a little farther back on the mushroom, I guess.
Sure.
Just like one.
Yeah, no check required. So Kai, you currently are focusing on this moonbeam, waiting for him to come back into the spotlight. What would you like to do?
I will move a little bit closer here, and then I will use my action to move the moonbeam on top of where the fleshy body is forming.
Fair enough. And so yes, I will go ahead and move that. It's essentially right on top of the altar. This blood corpse is starting to finally find momentum and pulling its body together. And yeah, having moved it, you can go ahead and do the damage. We'll do it preemptively. Why not?
Okay.
Because it's currently forming, and this is an AoE spell, so it makes more sense.
How do I do that again without using a spell slot?
Good question. So, you can just roll the dice. It's a 2d10, and it's radiant.
Okay.
Right, I think when you click it actually too, there is an option as well when you're casting spells. There's like a checkbox that says consume spell slot. I think you can do that as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I do all my stuff because I don't have any spell slots.
Nice, and so the
Nice.
radiant damage bathes the target, who appears to be undead, although he doesn't seem to have any weaknesses or resistances. However, he does take the full damage. Let's see.
Is it a monstrosity? No, I'm saying.
Oh, it's definitely undead.
Appears undead.
But yeah, that was
got it.
a good blow. Great. So that's your turn?
That's my turn.
Okay, Milo, currently pissing himself for a second time in the hour. Oh, shit. Well, okay, yeah. And he's going to ready a spell, although he's not in your party, so you don't know what spell that is. Bruce, what would you like to do?
I would like to get myself into position, like, by this crystal. And then ready in action with my bat bolus. So if anything, like if it starts to move or it seems like it's able to walk, I'd like to throw the bolus and try to restrain it.
Okay, so your one trusty pair of bat bolas, even though there's a giant burning light, you are aware that these will hopefully keep together.
Oh shit, yeah.
No, only an action, Alonso.
Good question. Yeah, that's it for my turn.
Okay. And so, we're at the top of the initiative. Laszlo, what would you like to do?
All right, so this undead thing hasn't finished transforming
It
yet,
is
right?
now completely formed, and it is standing under this light, and you can tell it's not even phased by it. It's starting to pull itself out.
Oh.
Here's what it looks like.
fully. Ooh, yeah.
Oh shit!
I will fully stand myself up, and shoot at it. My crossbow.
Okay.
False.
And so you watch as the arrow flies true, he grabs it midair as it poofs out of existence, being a magic arrow.
Behind you.
Okay.
How big is it?
It's humanoid, so it's about medium. It's roughly the same size as the individual that had
medium.
formed it. Yeah, it's a medium human, you know, as far as you can tell.
Can I trigger my my held action then?
Sure, please do.
Sick. All right. Ooh.
Nice.
Sick.
So now he has to succeed on that. So it's a DC 10 strength save. So you successfully tossed it and it was accurate. It wrapped around his legs. However, as he takes one step off the platform, you note that he has been able to pull away from it. And so your bat bolas are currently lying on the altar itself, being seared, however, still intact.
All right.
And that was your held
Lost
action.
Dylan.
That's okay. Who else had a held action? I guess.
I wanted to, but I cannot. Yeah, I actually just double checked too, and it specifically says to be ready to spell must have a casting time of 1 action. Yeah,
Gotcha.
cool.
Yeah, you wanted a ready hunter's mark, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's okay though.
Yep.
Playtime's over.
Jesus Christ!
And so he'll
amazing.
he'll walk past the light, kind of like stepping out of it, almost as though like Pirates of the Caribbean, like how the humanoids were kind of like walking and becoming skeletons, it's like the opposite. Like it looked as though it appeared to be Noctini, kind of like, which by the way, that is not important. The word I just said, but the skeletal entity.
Get away, Bruce!
He steps forward and he's going for Bruce. However, just in sheer kind of like anger and rage, he's going to attack at this fungi man who is currently drained of life.
No!
Not the fungi man.
He's such a fun guy.
You know what? I was gonna hunter's mark the fungi dude in case he died, and you know what? I should have done it, but I didn't. That's so funny. I was like, nah, he's not gonna slaughter one of these poor innocent prisoners.
And so, as he kills the fungi, basically slashing his esophagus open, all of these spores begin to pour out, which look like little tiny fungi, almost like he was eating fungi, and he's having that moment of like, oh, I can't hold all these limes, and he collapses to the ground. He looks over at Bruce. Bafla. He speaks in a demonic language, and you need to roll a check, my friend. What
is it?
Good question. It's a wisdom save for me.
Coming out here.
I've got some frozen cameras on Chris. Caleb is missing.
They're working fine for us.
Caleb, you still there?
Yeah, he's there.
Is
Yeah, mine's
Dylan?
working on my end. Dylan disappeared, and then now Allan's disappeared.
Oh no. Well, I think that means I get to re-roll my wisdom save, right?
Is that
That's
what
right.
that means?
Because they are gone, so they didn't see it.
I don't know if that's how it works.
I'll allow it.
Okay, and so
Can you guys hear me?
now we can, yes.
Yeah,
It's weird.
there he is.
Oh, and I'll also need wisdom saving throw from Salvatore.
Oh, really?
Oh, you in that range, dog?
Luckily, I'm very good at these.
Am I one square away from it?
Yeah, you're fine. So I don't know why it's popping up with that specific DC. This is different on mine. Yeah, it's supposed to be DC 13. And so, Salvatore, you successfully push off this frightened feeling you get as you're looking at this horrifying visage. Blood is literally pooling out of the skull and kind of like circulating down his body like a waterfall. And then it kind of hits his feet, and then it gets sucked right back up through his soles, and it kind of like churns back around and up his spine. And it's just like this circadian rhythm that's going through the skeleton's entire corpse. And so you are currently frightened, Bruce. You will not be able to move any closer to him. Salvatore.
Yeah, I'm frightened.
Yeah, this guy's creepy as
Fuck.
fuck. Salvatore, it's your turn though.
Oh. I recognize evil when I see it, and I activate my Rite of Storms.
Okay. Yeah, lightning arcs out of your rapier as you draw it. Basically, the sheer force of it. Yeah, it's now arcing across it.
And then I lunge forward in order to, in an attempt to pierce my foe.
Fling! And yeah, you sink it straight through his rib cage, dealing the full damage plus the lightning damage. You watch as he kind of like turns back towards you, aware that, you know, you assaulted him. However, he feels no pain, no weakness. That's your turn?
You are not. Ooh, can I bonus action my?
You have already bonused as your Rite of Storm.
Oh, you're
bonus,
right.
My bonus.
Fucking got him.
Oh yeah, can I bonus my bonus?
Was there something you wanted to say? I think I cut you off there.
Oh, the forces of darkness. There is nothing you can do in the face of me and my friends. My real friendship will prevail over all.
Yeah,
And I'm
okay.
ready. Okay.
All right.
My action.
Sounds
Or is
good.
my turn?
Yes. Alonso, what are you doing?
I'm shooting the shit out of this thing. God, that's an ugly motherfucker. And it looks to be mostly unharmed by any of us at this point.
He's getting there. You can watch as he's starting to crumble, and some of his ribs like are falling off. But you can see that the blood is what's sustaining him.
All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna take a shot with another planar warrior. Easy peasy. Drat.
Yeah, unfortunately, that does not hit. You watch as the arrow flies straight through his rib cage, impacting the ground just before your feet, Salvatore.
Wow, that was almost max damage too. Jesus.
Watch it.
Okay. Kai, what would you like to do?
I'm going to inch just a little bit closer. And then he did not move at all from his turn, did he?
The bloody bones had moved, yes.
Where is he now?
Can you not see him? He's right here.
Oh, I do not see him now. Can I move the beam to great? Yeah, I have an empty square there.
You don't see me.
Really?
I don't see you.
A refresh.
Oh, I see him now. He's moving around. He's all over the place. Okay.
Okay,
Can I
there he
move
is.
the beam in a way where I'm like getting him, but not Salvatore?
Yes, you may. You could totally, it'll kind of hurt maybe this fungi, and anything on the fungi will be completely destroyed. However, it will...
Is he dead?
Oh, he's dead though. Yeah, it wouldn't be a
Okay.
bad thing.
Sorry, fungi. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and then as a bonus action, I will say a healing word for Bruce. I'll say, "Get your shit together, Bruce."
That's great.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead and roll the 2d10 once again as he tries to succeed on the radiant damage that is beaming across. As it begins to circulate off his back, he'll cry. See, I want to do the saving throw again. Whatever, I can just do it like this. And yeah, so he fails it once more. Anything else?
And that's my turn.
Okay.
Oh wait, can I? Yeah, that's my turn.
So Milo, remembering he had a ready action, all right, the old one too, and he throws out 2 chilled touches. One of which hits, and yeah, it's 6 necrotic damage, which literally does nothing because it's necrotic. He doesn't heal from it, I don't think. I'm gonna double check though.
I still think it should be against the law to make chill touch.
Undead actually get a disadvantage from something from chill touch.
Oh yeah, let's read the description. Which the descriptions, can you guys click them? Sometimes they just don't open for me.
This one isn't working.
Yeah, like Kai's healing word does, but I don't know. Anyway, it can't regain hit points. If it's undead, it also has disadvantage. So yeah, he does have disadvantage until the end of his next turn. So you watch as he's looking at his claws and they begin to like shrivel up with ice. And it's almost as if they're preventing him from agile attacks of his own. Bruce, it's now your turn. You're currently frightened. You can totally try and stave it off, but you can't really move closer to him.
Okay. Am I still in punching range if this is 5 feet?
He was unable to reach you, and that's why he attacked the fungi. And right now, you're kind of behind one of the crystals.
Oh, because of the crystal. I see.
Yeah, you can. Okay. I will say
if
you can attack, but he has cover. You cannot move closer.
If I move this way, is that closer? Okay.
Yeah, that would be closer. You can attempt to attack. However, it's kind of like a reaching around this crystal here to try and like hit him, and then like duck back. You know, you're not really looking at him.
Yeah, I'll try. Yeah, I'll have disadvantage too, but why not?
Yeah, he'll have a big AC plus.
Oh yeah, no bueno.
No, unfortunately not.
I can move away from him, right?
Yes, you can move up to. You see Alonso up in the the shroom basically on top of the stool, and he's kind of like wavering on it. Maybe your weight might not be great, but you guys can maybe counterbalance it if you're up there with him.
I just want to get further away, like into this brush a little bit.
Sure, you can go this way. Yeah, if you like. And now
That's
go ahead and make a
about.
wisdom save as well. Yeah, and so you no longer feel frightened. Having gotten the proper distance, you can see he's just a schmuck. You're just another criminal.
What a schmuck.
Yeah. All right, Laszlo.
Oh, he's gonna see some justice.
Oh yeah.
All right, I will make my way back around the corner. Is there like a source of blood that like the bones are like draining or coming?
It seems to be kind of just like circulating through him. It's almost as if his veins are still there, and it's kind of creating the momentum, the fluid that allows him to like propel himself forward, as well as like attack with ferocious just strength. It's almost as if you watch as the blood pools into his arms right before he attacks with it.
Okay.
Whack.
I will cast as a bonus action my brand new arcane weapon.
What?
And I will put fire on my crossbow. And I will shoot that crossbow.
Nice.
Oh, it's a martial weapon. Fuck. I did not read that through. Is that still
It says
count?
simple. It says simple or martial.
So is crossbow a martial?
You have a
It says
simple.
simple or martial right there.
The weapon you have is a light crossbow, which is simple, and yes, it can work on a simple or martial weapon.
Okay. Cool. Well then yeah, I will attack with my fiery crossbow.
Sick.
Sounds good.
Man, I can't wait to get a heavy crossbow with repeating action on it. Oh my god, I'm getting juicy thinking about it.
So as you can totally roll the d6 just for fun, but you watch as the bolt begins to just accelerate in speed, incendiarying itself as it achieves the proper velocity about to impact the bloody bones, and he just cracks his neck as it arcs wide.
Damn it. Alrighty.
That's your turn?
I'm gonna peek back around here. That's my turn.
Okay. And yeah, just keep in mind that lasts 1 hour. So the bloody bones, noting that most of the damage has been coming from the moonbeam and having come from an arcane background, having been a warlock, he'll make an intelligence check though, because he's undead. So instead of moving closer to the man that is currently killing him in a flaming light, he'll just kind of like step out of it. Obviously, maybe I think he'll. No, he's moving to you specifically, Salvatore. He does have disadvantage, but he has multi-attack. So he's going to slash at you twice, Salvatore.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, those were both with disadvantage because of the chill touch.
Or says out loud.
Yeah, that Milo had placed on him. He had disadvantage. And so he slashed at you twice, and it's almost as if the ice itself kind of gave you the advantage you needed to sidestep out of the way. You have your reaction for a specific ability that I won't say out loud.
Oh, well, I will react. With my mangoes?
Yes, there you go.
Yay!
No, parry. Parry is the word.
Oh, I thought.
That is your Mangosh, though. I thought we were on the same page.
I thought we were too.
Yeah. However, because it missed by more than 10, you use your reaction to parry it, and you get an attack of opportunity with advantage. So essentially, you're expending your reaction to deftly block that slash, and then you can attack with your rapier with advantage.
Ooh, does it add my
It does.
my root? Oh, baby.
Yeah, so you get the edge in this combat, this fray, as you sink your rapier straight up its spine, straight into the back of its skull, and you watch as the tip emanates from the top of his skull, and then lightning begins to arc throughout his body. You can watch as he shrieks Wait, I have to do the voice.
Salvatore says,
Nasty.
I was like, that is not how you attack. How you attack is like this. And
Also do the lightning damage. See how much you did. It's a D4.
Okay.
You should have a baton for it. But yes, the lightning itself didn't really do the damage, but it looked cool. It looked real cool. Yeah. It's now your turn, though. What would you like to do?
it's now my turn. Well, as I say, it's like, that is not an attack. I parry, slice up into its head, and then I release it with the lightning damage, and then I say, this is how you attack. Does it hit?
Yes, that does hit. So that is 8 piercing damage as you sink it straight through where his heart might be. And it's almost as if there's like a vibration. It feels like you struck true. And go ahead and roll your lightning as well.
Why is it not adding?
You have to do that. It's a separate dice. That we, it's the Rite of Storm. If you click the Rite of Storm, it will roll the d4. There you go. And so you look at him as though he's about to fall, and he's reaching back for one last slash. He's got nothing left in him. All the blood is beginning to pool at his feet. He's one attack from going down. Alonso, what would you like to do?
Trying to get that one attack in.
And yes, 14 was just enough. As he's kind of rearing back to slash at Salvatore once more, an arrow streaks through, piercing him straight through the side of the skull. He falls. Combat's over.
Yes.
Salvatore turns to Alonso and he says, you always have to steal the last kill, don't you? You always have to take the glory.
I mean, maybe if you did a little bit more damage, I mean, it wouldn't be so big of a deal, but all right, I mean, whatever. Yeah, sorry. Just blame me. It's cool. Yeah, sorry, it's cool.
I want to go up to this prisoner.
Salvatore was half joking with that shit.
No, no, you actually did, like, I think, a lot of damage.
Are you guys okay? Is everything all right?
You can see that they are well on their way to dying. So if you would like to expend something, that would allow them to talk. You can watch as she opens her mouth, and it's just almost like the last breath is leaving her body as she tries to talk to you. She's holding on, though. Dr.
I need a
Laszlo.
medic over here.
Yeah,
Dr. Laszlo.
I'll approach and I guess use. I don't want to like use a spell. I just want to use like my alchemy kit, or I guess the best I can to like try to patch up the wounds and
Okay.
get some life back into them.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and make your medicine checks. Make 2. There's 2 of them left. And now that you look over at the last prisoner, are you proficient with medicine?
I am not, never mind.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, this guy,
Actually,
yeah, he's what appears to be like the semblance of a roach. He's like half human, half roach. And so, Laszlo, you are aware of, like, what might be going on in this woman's body. However, when you went to look at that roach's body, it's almost as if that shit in his skin was something you didn't want to touch. Like, you were trying to open up the hatch, so to speak, and when you got a glimpse inside, you were like, nope, I don't know how that works.
Can I
idea what's
see if
going on.
I would be able to help him?
Yeah, sure. So you'll walk over to the roach man.
Hello, bug boy. Let me take a look.
I'm sure he loves that one.
I resent that.
And so, yes, you place a hand on him, and your druid craft, just something you try on a whim, you're able to kind of like give him the existential kind of like relief that his body would need to flourish. Kind of like it's as though you sped up recovery. You gave him like a new form of renewal for his body to use. And so you watch as kind of like more color of like an earthy hue begins to run through his body. And so he's back and he's conscious, more so than the woman, in fact.
Oh. There you go, friend. You'll be safe now.
I
I'm
don't
gonna go
feel
scout ahead.
safe.
Please do. Make a stealth check and a perception check.
How did you guys get here?
We were brought for sacrifices. I don't know what to tell you.
Where are you from?
I'm just a traveler. My family were nomadic, and we came to pay our respects to the tree. And when we got here, this man, this vile creature, convinced me and mine that he was the warden.
What? Who? The warden of the tree? You mean?
Yes, you're aware that there is a protector that is assigned to the tree, and that this one had gone missing, from what you can piece together, having spoken with those Aarakocra.
Right.
How long have you guys been like tied up here for?
I don't know, weeks, hours. Time is a construct.
Real philosophical.
Okay, I'm joking. It was a day, 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
I like this guy.
My name's Hubert, by the way. Pleasure is all mine.
Hubert, you get it. Can I check the warlock's body?
Sure, make an investigation check. Is anybody else looking about? And Alonso, with those checks, yeah, you have a good glimpse of the area. You went really far, dude. I don't appreciate you going that far. I can help you scout the area, but when you go so far, it's like the surprise is ruined, you know?
Oh.
But yeah,
Don't say anything.
yeah, for future reference, don't explore the map, everybody. I'll have to put up the invisible walls, which I did in the last campaign.
I thought you had walls. I thought you had walls to places that you didn't like us to go. Sorry.
That's okay. You now know too much, and you are a threat, so keep that in
I
mind.
know nothing.
But yeah, what did you see, Alonso? Can you describe to your group what you see?
Same from what I can see here. Actually, oh goodness, I can't right now. Actually.
Okay, we'll come back to you. But everybody else who's looking about, Kai, these are the belongings of a crazy person. You don't know what those things are, but they look vile and vicious, and essentially atrocious.
Evil possessions.
Yeah, you don't touch them, in fact.
Salvatore, hearing evil, also investigates.
Okay.
Like Mermaid
Nice.
Man.
So, Salvatore... Yeah. Salvatore, you essentially walk up to him, notice that Kai is kind of cringing at the necrotic energy, and you just kind of like kick him over. And as the body of this warlock spills open, all of his entrails have already been kind of like pushed and pulled out of him into this necrotic being, which, by the way, the bloody bones, which is the monster that you all name him as, there's no loot on him, so to speak. But this warlock, he had the item on him. Go ahead and roll a D100.
We can't use the item though because it's evil.
I want nothing to do with it.
Ooh. It is a necklace of fireballs with one bead. One bead. So it has one use of fireball.
Hmm.
The best.
You really use that against me.
He should have.
I pull it up and I inform Kai. It's like, I do know this is against your nature, but perhaps it is something you could use. Are you sure you're against using such a thing?
I could consider it if it's something that you feel like has not been tainted by this man's lack of disregard.
Salvatore like brushes it off real quick, gives it a quick sniff, and yeah, I think it's okay.
Maybe he found it from somebody who wasn't quite so evil.
It does not seem to be necrotic in nature. It seems to be magic.
Ooh. Magic beads.
And yeah, so Salvatore presents it to Kai and lets him know to use it when needed.
Okay.
I will do my best, friend.
It is in your inventory. So, should you use it, we will cross that bridge when we get there. But you have it, and you can look at it. It's pretty. And it basically, peering into the gem itself, you can see that there's like a roaring fire that kind of like, every time you adjust it in the light, it has like this faint glimmer. And it seems to be kind of like rotating inside. You can tell what it is on first glance, that it is an arcane weapon. And so Alonso mentions as he reapproaches that there were many spores to be found, most of which could be cultivated, but a lot of seem deadly should they be tampered with poorly. And there was also what appeared to be like a blockade. It seemed to be a web of sorts.
Like it's impassable.
It seems so. Or, maybe you could find a way through it, cut through it, or go around. It seems as though this forest has many trails. And Laszlo, was there anything in particular you wanted to do? And then Bruce afterwards?
Nah. Well, is the dryad okay?
Yes, the dryad.
The roach man.
Well, you were taking care of the dryad, having a better idea of how their kind of innards would function, and so you're able to bring her back to talking health at least. And she looks at you, and she's roughly here. I can show you a picture too. Oops, that's Laszlo.
That's me.
She's small, almost as though
like looking into a mirror.
Yeah, she has like elf ears and small antlers that jut out, and you can tell that she had a spear at one point, but like she looks about for it, anxious to find her own belongings and maybe make her way northward, which you can tell she glances to.
Thank you, young goblin.
Anytime. What can I ask you? Like, how'd you ended up here, and like, what was exactly what's going on with the this clearly evil man?
My village, we've been lacking in food, and I went to scavenge and find what I could to bring back for my family, me papa, so that we could eat tonight. And unfortunately, I was abducted, canvas bag overhead. Oh God, don't remind me.
Oh God.
So, I don't want to, uncover any traumatic experiences. I'm just trying to figure out what this guy was doing so we can prevent further tragedy.
Where's your papa?
Oh, he spoke of sacrificing me to his lord. It sounded like some kind of oath or shoth. I couldn't glimpse or glean what that might have been, but he was using this dark magic. It came out of the void itself.
Hmm.
Oh, and me papa
Did he appear to belong to any kind of like did he have any helpers or friends or belong to any like organization or?
Well, yes. He was here with an ally of his, of sorts, and while they spoke briefly, he was intent to make sacrifices for the god himself, and so they had left not long ago. I myself, I must get back to me papa, to the north, just past our guardian.
Does your
Already.
Well, yes, he's. I can introduce you. He's a giant skeleton, although he doesn't really talk.
That's not weird. Is this village full of skeletons? Giant skeletons that don't talk?
Oh no, that's just our guardian. We call him Big Ben, and you see, our village has been in dire need of protection as of late. You can tell all around how corrupted this world has become.
How so? How is it exactly corrupted?
Preach, sister.
Look about you. This is not the forest I lived in mere 2 years ago. All of a sudden, the tree would just cease talking to us, and every time we tried to converse with nature, she would shut the door, so to speak.
Would you be willing to try speaking with the tree again with us?
Oh, it's quite dangerous, I'm afraid. The last time we sent just an offering to please Mother Nature, well, they never came back.
You don't happen to know what happened to the warden of this tree, do you?
That's the thing. He was such a kind-hearted man, and we always enjoyed conversation with him. He would tell us of all the crazy inventions over on the mother tree, and it's just unfortunate. He's gone missing. We haven't seen him in days, weeks. It's been so long.
When did you guys last see him?
She looks very fearful. She knows that, you all seem friendly, especially for sparing her life, and she's welcome to share any information as well as show you at least to the Guardian. And so, what was your question, Laszlo? Sorry.
Oh, it's just when did they last see the warden?
It's been at least a week or two.
Does he look like you? Or is he a bird person?
Oh, heavens no. He was a human at first.
So tactful.
But
What was that? I didn't hear that.
well, a warden could be any race. It doesn't have to be a specific one. The warden is, well, a volunteer of sorts. They choose this life, this career, so to speak. And, well, being a friend of nature is always a plus.
I was asking who was this warden? What was he?
Oh, he was a druid. And he was one of the best. Well, as far as I know, I think he could take care of himself, but it's been so long since we've seen Kyle.
Is a human druid?
Yes. Kyle, the human druid.
Do I know Kyle?
You've never met Kyle, no.
Rarely people meet Gaia.
Sounds like a douchebag.
Yeah.
Well,
Indeed, Kyle is a douchebag.
my friends have noted a strange presence, a good one, mind you, that has visited the tree in the last so few hours, and well, today I had left to go and try and greet them, maybe lay eyes on them as I scavenged around the forest, and he was friendly. I could tell that he was trying to help, but it wasn't long after that I encountered this vile man, and he took me.
Do you feel well enough to come with us?
Certainly. If you wouldn't mind escorting me back to Big Ben, that would be quite lovely.
You guys got any food?
We could find more information in the village, so that might be a good way to proceed from here.
I give the grasshopper man a little bit of my rations.
Yo, thanks, pal. Bro, you guys have been talking for so long. I'm getting hungry.
Oh, I say, I'll give you these rations, but you must accompany us to the tree.
It's better than dying. I gotta admit, I I'm anything other than dying, I'm okay with at this point. I would love to find my family.
Very good.
I got a matter of.
I actually, Salvatore asks him his backstory, not because he's interested, but because he feels that it's like kind of rude that we like went through the whole Dryad's backstory and not his.
Well, you see, my people have a life cycle.
And then I walk away.
Oh, thank you.
I'm kidding.
And he goes into great detail of how, roach people, they live quite short lives. And so they're usually used as kind of like fodder for a lot of like warring races. It's almost as though his people have been sought out just to be used as weapons. And so he and kind of a small group of roachlings, as he introduces his race, have kind of like been on the run. They're kind of like embracing a nomadic lifestyle. They are by and large a scavenger race. They literally eat anything that could be deemed edible.
Sounds like my ex-wife.
I got a matter of importance I need to address with this here Milo character.
Oh, hey, that's me. Hey, you look angry, Alonso. Hi.
This has gotten pretty fucking dangerous, and you seem to be of little help. While we appreciate your disadvantage that you offered on that undead character there, your behavior and the danger we seem to be in, I think we owed a little bit of more payout, if you know what I'm saying, at the end. I'm saying gold.
Well, Alonso, thank you for your opinion, and your opinion can also be considered a fact. I will agree. However, this encounter was not on the list. We could have avoided this. You guys are going down every side quest that God himself, Gaia herself, is offering you.
You want us to heal this forest, but you want us to leave blood skull demons in the forest while we heal it? That's part of your plan, Milo? That's part of your genius plan? What kind of intelligence you have, Milo?
I would consider myself true neutral, and that honestly was not my problem. That is not what I signed up for. I would love to go straight to the tree. However, it seems as though I'm not the leader here, Alonso.
Milo. All right, Milo, we'll do it your way. Lead the way, and then cower in fear when things go wrong.
Can I just be quaint with you, Alonso? You guys are my hired protection, and it's almost as though I'm not being protected. You guys are literally attacking everything. Literally, you saw a warlock guy, and then you decided to attack him, and of course he's going to defend himself. That's just self-defense.
The life of people and the forest. If we're here to help the forest, we're going to help the forest. And if you don't want to help the forest, then why are you even here?
Should we have just left these people to die?
The forces of darkness. The forces of darkness.
It's everywhere.
I think the Terra Gaia tree will have appreciated us getting rid of this necromantic force so close to the tree itself.
What he said.
What he said.
What he said.
I agree. I think we did a good deed today, and we can consider ourselves lucky we didn't die in a pool of blood. I did my best.
I can see that no additional payment is necessary, though. Your point has been made, Milo. I concede. We shall move on.
Yes, I
don't
greatly
know.
appreciate.
I want more money.
Yeah, don't we all?
We're getting paid for this?
I'm getting paid exactly as much as you all. In fact, I have no money on me. I gave you every dowry I had because you asked for half of it up front. As soon as we got to Deep Rock Port, I entrusted you with half pay.
Dowry. Are you?
I was about to say, are you a maiden?
I'm a scholar, and I find that very insulting.
Well, if you're getting paid the same amount as us, wouldn't you want more payment for this highly dangerous mission that we're clearly on?
Okay, tell you what, I can type up a report. In fact, I have a sending scroll. What would you like me to say? I can send a word straight to Grimwall. He'll be happy to pay us more should we tell him we went and killed a couple warlocks.
More money, more money, more money.
Indeed. I think you should use your very intense vocabulary and describe the intense terror that you felt and you've seen in the people around you, and describe how much you think that the danger we're in calls for more.
I really don't appreciate being patronized, but I get your point. And so he'll start writing. He'll pull out a mage hand operated pen. So he basically dips it a couple times, and then he pulls it out, and he unwraps a scroll. So he's holding the scroll itself, and the pen itself goes to work, and he's looking at each one of you. Okay, now what would you like me to send to Grimwall?
More money, more money, more money.
Okay, it's literally writing it as he's saying it.
That's not gonna go over well.
He's right.
That's not gonna go over well. I erased what he said.
It does.
That's put in the.
No, it's like talk to text. Everything we're saying.
The mission was a lot more dangerous than it was first described as, and a little extra payment would be appreciated for the extra work we're having to put in on this mission.
Safety warlock.
Yeah, plus the warlock. Yeah, the warlock.
But funny enough, I don't know, you guys can't read it. Even I can't open that message, so I'll have to figure out why that is. But, like, even though, you know, he's writing it in an arcane ink, it does actually go backwards. It's almost as if, instead of in cursive writing forwards, it kind of in cursive writes backwards, and it erases words as you all are speaking it.
Nice.
So I can send up to 20 words, as you wish. I would implore each of you to add your opinion to this message, because I deem it important. I am sending it on my best parchment, and it will reach Grimwall's eyes. He's entrusting me, and honestly, I am entrusting all of you.
More money, more money, more.
Just put mission extra complications in current mission. More money would be appreciated for said complications.
Oh, what he said.
What he said.
Sounds good.
Okay, so to get this clear, more money, because dangerous entities appreciated more money, more money, more money. Is that correct?
If you
That
could,
is not what I said at all.
if you could include a small portrait of the blood beast, I'm sure you would be more persuaded.
It was real scary.
Yeah, he was pretty scary.
So he does take a quick second.
Characters with the really scary kills me.
He does take a quick second with the quill to actually sketch out this boned creature. And you can tell that because it's arcane, and you noted that he had great cursive handwriting, that this imagery is almost lifelike. It happens to be an accurate representation of the monster you just slain.
That looks pretty good.
Okay, I think he will appreciate this portfolio picture. I'm quite impressed with my own work. I might consider opening an art shop. So, I will send this post hence. Any last words?
Milo, I think you should open that art shop.
Yeah, probably that instead of whatever you're doing here.
More money, more money,
Agreed.
more money.
Why are you guys, like, not a fan of what I'm doing? Is it because I'm scared? Because I'm frightened?
Milo, I just think your art is beautiful.
Well,
I think you're great, Milo.
Thank you.
I just think you deserve more money. And we deserve more money.
I'm sorry that you felt unsafe.
Thank you, Bruce. That is quite kind. By the way, you seem to not like being called Bruce in public. What should I call you?
We're working on it.
We're working.
Okay, all right. You seem to appear like bat-ish.
What's your favorite animal?
Maybe Nightman.
Yeah.
I am the darkness.
The darkness.
Wait, what about the Dark Knight?
Dark Knight?
I like to instill the fear of darkness.
Dark Boy.
The blackness of night and dark, the blackest of black. You could call me Black Man.
I don't know if that has that ring to it. I'm gonna keep workshopping it.
Like I said, we're working on it.
So, okay, the blackest dark night. Got it. All right, I'll write it down. And so, Milo, he kind of like acknowledges that he might not be pulling his weight. He's very astute that, you know, he is frightened and that he appears to not be leading. And so he feels that, and it hurts. And you can tell that he's trying to stay strong. Well, gentlemen, and he does a little like snap, and the scroll itself rolls up, kind of like fling, flies into this nice tightly bundled, you know, scroll, and then it sprouts wings, as if the tips of the parchment itself turn into wings, and it immediately flies in the direction from whence you came. All right, I suppose we should be on our way, and I don't mind leading. I think I have a lot to prove to you all, but I hope that you might take me seriously. And so he starts heading towards the tree.
Oh man, those rations were great. You got any more?
Yeah, I got a little bit more. Here you are.
Oh,
I want to go pick up my bolus.
sure. Make
Pick up your balls?
His bolus. Yeah, they're still there. I'll say he didn't break them. They kind of just wrapped around his legs and they've slipped off because it's like skeleton limbs, you know?
It's too strong.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
I got 7 rations now.
Okay. Well, I mean, you all have been eating your rations, and as a note, yeah, you should all subtract 3 rations just for your trip.
Okay.
Okay. So 2 more on top of my 3.
Yes. And so Hubert's kind of like following you around, like, kind of like subservient almost to you, Salvatore.
you got any more Scooby snack?
Salvatore places his arm around him and he says, "In due time, my friend, you will do good works with us. Perhaps you could be a psychic. A very honorable position."
He's briefly considering it, but he does take a second to
Consider. I mean, my family might be looking for me. I am a patriarch. I am. Well, you see, I have a harem.
Salvatore makes sure to remark, "There's rations involved."
Oh, Salvatore.
And you can see his grin is not toothy, but chitinous, and it has like these spikes that act as teeth, and they kind of like clatter underneath his mandibles as he's kind of like pinching, kind of like, and you can tell that there's a little bit of drool involved. And as the drool hits the ground, it leaves like a kind of like an acidic, kind of like acrid smell.
The more you stay with us, the more rations you get.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
And so,
That's my boy.
yeah, he's following Salvatore specifically.
I give him a little stroke of the antennae, which Salvatore thinks is sensual.
you can tell, yeah, he likes
sexual.
it. Yeah,
Sexual.
it's definitely friendly in nature.
Well, that's the difference.
And so you note that Sabrina is kind of attentive, and she looks at you.
Well, so would you mind if we swung by Big Ben? You can just leave me with him. That's quite all right. I can obviously make my way, but I would just be feeling safer. That's all.
Salvatore turns to her and says, "Rations?"
And you can tell, like, she watched how delicious that Hubert made those seem. And, Oh, she actually didn't introduce herself. I said Sabrina, but that was the female Aarakocra.
My name's Olive. Thank you again for your assistance. And rations, I would love one. However, I am not a beggar. And she
looks over at Hubert and kind of gives him like a scowl, but also like there's like a hunger pain that she feels, and you can even hear it. It kind of echoes across these crystals, which kind of like encapsulate and create an acoustic, so everyone hears how hungry she is.
I'm sure everyone hears how hungry she is, but Salvatore is like aiming to please, so he gives her a ration.
Okay.
I won't be, biting at the heel, like your new friend, but I am eternally grateful. Thank you, sir.
But we are going to take a short break. I hope you all come up with ideas of what to do next when we're back. And so you're basically at an impasse. Milo is essentially walking up and over towards this path as it forks, and then Olive is heading in this direction. What would you all like to do?
I follow Milo.
I follow Milo as well.
I think we're so close we need to address the tree, and we'd be happy to escort her afterwards, is my opinion.
Okay.
Just come with us. We'll keep you safe.
I just don't like Milo.
I want to get
Milo's our paycheck.
Yeah, he kind of is. And so he heads up, and he's going to make an insight check real quick as he passes by this bulbous flower.
Ooh!
Gentlemen, that looks explosive. And he keeps walking.
What? What does?
This right here.
He almost got himself killed.
Did everyone hear that?
Good to know for later.
And so Olive then makes her
Debut. Okay. Gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. I can handle myself from here on out, and I appreciate your assistance. I will put in a good word with my people. And thank you, kind genocide. She
bows. She
Wait,
knows
one last
that.
thing.
What's up?
Have you seen a bird, man? A dead one?
No, I'm afraid not. I'm sorry.
Well, all right.
I think they were captured. She was captured by the time that he had been killed. I think he'd been killed pretty recently. They were escaping from that, I think.
I bow to her.
It's at that point you hear a stealth sound from World of Warcraft. And she starts heading north. And so as you all are heading towards the tree, there's several things, and you all can freely roam about the area. If you step on something you shouldn't, I'll let you know. But he's going to be taking a path.
I want to be...
Yeah. What's up?
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say I want to keep an eye out for that body.
Yep.
Okay.
Ooh, what was our bug boy's name again?
Hubert.
Hubert, perhaps you should stay with me. Close by.
I want to
perhaps-
this is up here.
Perhaps I will stay with the and so he's
I'm
following
going
you.
to I'm going to cast guidance on Milo and tell him he's doing a good job.
Okay. Well, thank
Thank you. I lost myself for a moment there. I feel quite guided. So he is currently looking about the area. He does note something in particular. All of you make perception checks. Yeah, that's a body. That is a body. Wow. So Kai, you correctly identify that is the Aarakocra friend. Newly, rotting corpse. You can tell that there is something attached to its face that appears to be like paper, and then around its body are these shrooms that are all kind of like inching towards it, kind of like all looking to get a piece of the action, so to speak. He's long dead though, and it's unfortunate, but there's no way of reviving him. This does appear to be the Aarakocra in question, right here.
Oh man.
I'm nervous to just grab his body, but that's what I want to do.
Let me.
Can I examine the shrooms around him?
Yes, you may. Make an nature check.
I'm going to do that with him as well.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, both of you note that these are the type of mushroom that will not let go once they have you. And essentially, like, they are a swarm of something aggressive. And right now they are eating. They're feeding.
I want to look for like a sigil or a symbol or a ring, some sort of something we could get and bring back.
Sure, make an investigation check.
From a distance.
Does anyone have any like fire or anything that we could use to like scare off the flames?
I have a torch and tinderbox.
I can use a fireball, but that might be a little overkill.
Oh,
Burn the whole forest down.
I mean, we were trying to like, you know, was to cremate the body, right? So that would actually kind of kill two birds with one stone.
his sister did say that the proper burial was cremation.
That's right. Fire away.
Forest on fire.
A slow, controlled burn would be fine.
All right.
I'll light a torch.
Okay. So you're tossing a torch onto this corpse and the mushrooms surrounding it?
Oh, whoa.
Oh wait, did I see anything?
After we find anything useful and maybe an identifying moniker that we could give to his sister.
Yes.
Yeah. Did
And
I see anything?
Bruce, you did identify that there is what appears to be a wedding band on his left hand ring finger. And it's relatively close. Like you might be able to grab it with the proper check.
I will cast guidance on Bruce so that he can do it.
I will go to Milo and I'll be like,
Milo,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, you were like making that pen like right by itself. Can you grab that ring off that guy?
Certainly try. That's a great idea. I'm glad you thought of it, Bruce. The Blackest Dark Knight. He nods and he'll
We're working on it.
he'll do a mage hand and accurately controlling it. He's doing what appears to be, like playing the board game Operation. You watch as the mage hand deftly maneuvers through these roots and bones, as you can tell that this fungi, the corpse isn't its first. And so as the mage hand goes between them, careful not to touch them, he deftly, and this is with guidance, correct?
Yeah, he can take it.
He successfully pulls off the ring, and as he pulls backwards, he gets the fuck out. And yeah, he's currently holding the wedding band.
My boy. My guy.
Wow, you guys are really nice when you're supporting me. That's actually fantastic. Thank you. Here, I want you to hold this.
Burn the body.
Anybody else before I throw a fucking torch on this thing?
No, it looks good to me.
Light it up, brother.
All right. I'll throw it from a distance. Whoosh. Or I don't know what happens, but I throw the torch.
Yeah, the whoosh does in fact happen, as it looks as though the shrooms themselves all recoil in a dangerous pose, and they all begin
The shriek.
as they all begin to burn alight. And you watch as the parchment that was on his face begins to fly. It floats off of it, and it assaults you. Everybody roll for initiative.
Say what?
Okay.
Oh.
An assaulting parchment?
Oh.
Oh, that's not good at all.
However, there is no
Well,
difficult
that's probably
terrain.
worded too.
Yeah.
Map mimic.
Oh, no fucking way.
And so we are at the top of the initiative. It's going to be Salvatore. What would you like to do? As this
Ooh.
being begins to fly at you. It's about 6 feet up in the air right now.
6 feet up in the air. Well, that's about my height.
Yeah.
And I will move towards it, and I will use my rapier with my Rite of Storm still activated because I have not sheathed my sword.
Sounds good.
Oh, so close.
Yeah, that does hit. And then 12 piercing damage as you slide your rapier straight through where you find the tightest nitpicking word in this map that appears to be floating above you. And it recoils and it opens up a maw inside of it. And it appears to be like a different dimension inside of its mouth. It's not like 3D paper. Rawr, rawr, rawr. That's all it says.
Ooh, well,
And don't forget your right damage. Go ahead and roll that as well.
ooh. If I don't click on it, what would I, click on it?
Click on it. All you have to do is click on it.
All right.
There you go. So 2 lightning damage. And so you do have your bonus if you'd like to use it. Because as you mentioned, your right is currently active. You did not sheath your sword.
Ooh, yeah, I'll use my Mangosh as an attack instead of a defense.
Sure. So you go into an attack stance, losing 1 point of armor. However, you successfully find the momentum, slashing up with it, dealing the full 3 piercing damage. No modifiers involved. Alright, it's Alonso's turn. What would you like to do?
Where is this? I can't. Okay, never mind. I see it now. I'd like to climb up into this tree to get a better vantage point on it.
Sure. At this time, you begin to note that these trees seem to have very deadly spores, as well as like flora, fauna. You will be making...
Then never mind.
Yeah. It seems to be dangerous to do
Alright.
that.
I'm just gonna shoot between my friends, so it probably has cover or something.
All right, and yes, you let out a low whistle, and as you do so, you watch the currents align, and your arrow flies true, and it sinks straight through the map itself, creating a tear that is momentarily stitched back together. Is that all?
Sweet, that's my turn. Yes, sir.
Okie doke. We got Kai.
I would like to douse this map.
Hey,
So
but just
that's
like,
underwater.
Yes, and so you watch as Kai begins to rotate his hands around themselves, creating this ball of water, and then Kamehameha it straight at this map. It does succeed on the Constitution saving throw, however, definitely dodging out of the way as a beam of hydro pump erupts from your druid's hands. Anything else?
No, that is my turn.
Okay. So the map mimic, noticing that he is completely outnumbered and having relatively high intelligence, is going to make a break for it. And as it does so, you may attack it, yes. He's going to shift into what appears to be a origami bird.
Excuse me, am I close enough to attack too?
He is 6 feet up in the air, unfortunately. Bruce, you may also take a swing at it.
That's right, I'm pretty
Sweet.
Yeah.
and I get my Rite of Storm as well?
Yes, you do.
Ooh, a crit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Damn, damn.
Harder in my life.
You watch as Salvatore quickly tosses his rapier directly in line with where it's going, and it's almost as if the lightning kind of arcs out, creating a slash that would be considered a ranged attack, but no, it's just Salvatore being amazing. And then it kind of like shimmies straight to the ground. And as soon as it hits the ground, you watch as Bruce goes
It's the scene from Office Space.
Yeah. But combat's over.
Yeah.
Did I get it?
That might have been the perfect way to kill it too.
Yeah, you
by
got
punching
it.
it. It's still whole.
I want to pick it up and see what it is.
Sure. Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Okay.
Are the mushrooms still burning?
Yeah, all the mushrooms have disintegrated at this point. Alongside the
What
body.
about the body?
The body, everything on it has been eradicated, incinerated, evaporated, blown away.
Eradicated, incinerated, evaporated. All
It's
right.
gone. The only thing that would be considered loot is this map, which has been torn to shreds and then has what appears to be fist markings in it at the moment. And as you look at it, Laszlo, and study it appears to be, well, made of the same material as a scroll, but it's also kind of a fungi. And it seems to be kind of like an alchemical type of fungi that was kind of like tampered with maybe like the heart of a mimic. And so this is kind of offspring. And so mimic like this, they create larvae, as all mimic do. And so this is one of a small batch of said larvae. And so these types of mimics, as all mimics, are kind of like travelers. They find like a safe spot to kind of like pounce on prey. And so this forest has been very convenient for it. And yeah, map mimics are basically like baby mimics.
Mm.
I'm guess we'll put this guy's ashes in my mess kit, unless someone's got a more respectable container. Feel kind of bad.
I don't really have anything to carry ashes. Well, I mean, I have flasks and glass bottles, but I guess that could be used to carry ashes.
To carry ass.
Carry asses.
Yeah. Bruce, make a religion check.
Religion check.
And Milo does hand you the ring, Bruce.
Sweet.
So, from what you can glean from your conversation with the Aarakocra, you don't need to bring back proof other than this wedding band. And you having the story that can be, shared that they were burned, and that, they were scattered among the wind and the forest. Like, that story alone kind of settles, their honor.
Okay. And I'll embellish a little.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
All right. All right, never mind. I didn't want to get my mess kit dirty anyway. Just trying to be nice.
I would like everybody to make an investigation or perception check.
We're rolling good tonight.
Yeah, for once. You had to say something.
Oh,
On average.
We're just missing Alonso's? Yeah, where's Alonso's?
No, sir. You just missed you saw the amazing one. You just didn't want to believe it.
It's not in the chat. Not for me, at least.
Oh, what? It's right below Bruce's religion check. The
Above
24.
That's weird because it's not showing up for me. But it's a 24, you said?
Yep.
Okay. No, it's good. I'll take a screenshot if you don't believe me.
No, I know. I
It's 30.
listen, no, I believe you.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that I have 4 other witnesses for it.
Oh, wait. Don't look at that. There's things. And that's funny. Okay. Anyway. You do
post the DM screen.
Yeah, you literally see everything, but I deleted it. I hope you didn't see anything. But
No.
what you see, Alonso, outside of everything, were some hidden things. And so here are some of those hidden things. You happen to find a door that is concealed behind several giant mushroom stalks and kind of like bushes that were concealing it. So the bushes themselves, they seem to have like this, orange red hue. And then the door kind of has painted orange and red that kind of like match behind it. So to give that effect of camouflage. And it is right here. next to a batch of what appears to be edible mushrooms.
Yo, there's a door here. It's hidden behind. Oh man, that came open really easy. It was hidden behind these bushes, and so maybe there was somebody living here. 'Cause there's edible mushrooms all around here. I wonder if these mushrooms out here were some kind of experiment gone wrong.
I think this is where the warden
Check it
lived.
out.
Maybe the warden said.
So
A
while
quick peek.
while you all do mention the warden, this happens to be a separate home. You can tell that the warden would live in the home that is kind of like stationed up where that cliff is. So as you recall looking, from a glance as you entered the forest, the cliff face had what appeared to be kind of like a home stationed inside of it. And that was what the Aarakocra pointed out to be the warden's home. And then just on top of that was kind of like the root, the base of the Gaian tree. And so this happens to be some kind of other home that you found kind of nonchalantly. And so as you walk up to the door, it does appear to be locked.
Is this a pond to the left of us?
Here, kitty.
You're working, man.
And yes, there is a pond with very swampy water to the southwest.
Oh,
Yes.
maybe I wasn't clear. Salvatore, here, kitty. Can I have your claws or your lockpicks, please?
I don't think he can hear us. He's deaf for some reason.
I do not appreciate the kitty. But I will help you as best I can.
Do you have any lockpicking ability left?
I have my claws. I don't know if it's as good as my regular lockpicks, but I'll use those. Should I use sleight of hand? I used up all of Laszlo's thieves' tools.
Yeah, okay.
What would I use? Sleight of hand?
Well, if you're attempting to pick the lock, sure, we'll go with sleight of hand because you're using your fingernails. The DC will be higher because you're not using like actual thieves' tools.
Okay. I use those all up. Unless Laszlo has some prepared.
I do not.
I'm just checking.
You do note that Bruce also has been trained in thieves' tools. I don't think he has any though. He didn't buy them.
I'll take a note and I'll make some more. And the next time we sit down to rest.
So you hear a soft click as this door made of what appears to be like the natural flora has successfully been opened. And you hear shuffling inside.
Nice, good job. I'm gonna like rub Salvatore between the ears on his head.
Salvatore is a little put off, but it feels so good he doesn't care.
I knew it. I'm also gonna. There's movement inside. Get ready. I'm gonna slowly open the door, and I'd like to try to do it as stealthily and quietly as possible.
Okay, make a stealth check. I'm not seeing Allan's rolls. Is he rolling?
He rolled
Yeah.
15.
I do not see them.
Let me
try refreshing.
refresh. I'll refresh my person.
Yeah, that's weird. Well, what did he roll, guys? While he's refreshing?
15.
Come.
Actually, 25. He rolled 25. Fireworks.
That disadvantage +6 is hilarious.
We'll give him a second.
Does Kai see anything interesting about the pond?
You're investigating the pond? Go ahead and roll.
Hello?
Can you try rolling something?
No.
Like maybe a skill check? Any skill check?
Yeah.
Alonso.
You seen any of those?
I don't see any of them. I'll try refreshing. That's weird.
Yeah, right. It's because I saw into the DM screen. I broke it.
You saw
So-
too much.
I can roll your stuff. Try rolling again. Okay, it's showing up. I just had to refresh. So, we're back on track. Kai, meanwhile, you're kind of like glimpsing over this pond. You do note that there is a chest directly in the middle of the pond, sitting on a lily pad. And I'll remove this wall so everybody can see it.
On top.
Yeah, on top of the chest.
Whoa. Can I freeze myself a path to it?
We will come back to you. Meanwhile, over by the door, Alonso, you deftly open the door, you twist the handle, making nigh but a sound. And as you peer inside, your dark vision giving way, you can tell that there was a candle that was snuffed out just briefly. Looking about, this happens to be kind of like a studio of sorts. There's maybe like some homemade paints and brushes that are kind of like clamored about what appears to be a makeshift window that kind of like parts through the trees. There's an easel that happens to be made out of toadstools, and looking deeper inside, you can tell that there's no shadows because there's no light emanating, but you can hear the breathing of a creature kind of just around the corner, and you can tell. Well, what can you tell? Make an investigation check.
Oof.
Oh my god.
They are territorial.
Hey, I'm a very powerful man. What are you doing in there? Don't do anything rash. We come in peace, but we will murder you. So, what are you doing?
This is my home. State your business. Who are you?
I just happened to perceive your door casually, and because it seemed to be hidden, I thought it was really curious, so I peeked in here, and you seem to be kind of territorial, and I don't want you to jump out at me.
You've invaded I put a very nice lock on that door.
We got a really nice lockpick, apparently.
There's more than one of you. Oh God.
Oh yeah, there's 5 of us. We'll murder you if you don't play nice. So please just calm down. It's not like I'm a nice person. We are
What's
here.
What's going on in there, Alonso?
Why are you so this person?
Oh, is that what I'm doing? Man, I'm really bad at this. All right, I'm gonna step out and let y'all talk to him.
I guess I'll walk in to try to communicate.
This poor guy.
Wait, you're just walking in?
I walk back out. I leave. I'm like, oh man, I feel
What's
bad.
in there, Alonso?
Okay, so if anyone is stepping through the threshold, let me know.
Not me.
I'll step through the threshold.
Okay.
What's in there? Why'd you leave so soon? Hello?
I'll swing. I have a mace.
Whoa! Why? What's going on here? Who are you? Why are you gonna swing at me?
So there's what appears to be
goblin.
a very astute smell. It smells of like sweat and dog. Like it's like a fur kind of smell. Like as though
like wet dog.
Yes, that's the word. Like a wet dog it smells like. And so as you come through, make a persuasion check.
Okay. Now, persuasion, that's what I used my skill check for, the one that was to get proficient in. So I'm just letting you know that.
For skill expert?
With skill expertise. Yeah, skill expert.
Yeah, so you have +4, and guess you're a Gemini, so you get the +1 because of your stone.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, and so you kind of like allow your voice to feel and just echo as friendly as possible. And that's just something you've kind of learned over the years, especially dealing with patients, is that you need to be a warm and inviting presence, especially in talking with people that are scared. And so you note that the figure who
responds, okay, I haven't had guests in quite some time. Please,
and he'll step in front of you. He also has dark vision, and so you look at each other. He appears to be like a man, but just covered in fur. And so he steps out and into the light.
Hello, greetings. You all seem invasive.
Oh, we're sorry for intruding on your home. We're here to like examine the tree, and we're wandering through the forest, and we've been attacked by many crazy monstrosities in this forest, and we saw this entrance, and we were just curious what was inside. We don't mean you any harm. We're sorry for intruding. My name's Laszlo, by the way.
Okay. My name's Maku. I was the apprentice to the warden before he went missing.
Oh, yes. Actually, we were looking for the warden and trying to figure out what happened to him. Do you know where he went or where he was seen last before he disappeared?
Well, I'm afraid that whatever corrupted the tree had corrupted him, and I haven't really gone to check on the tree since, because I feel I hear the screams that come from within, and all I can think of is that might be him, because honestly it sounds like him.
You're saying the tree corrupted him?
Well, no, whatever corrupted the tree.
Oh, sorry. I misunderstood. Well, do you have any idea of what's been corrupting the tree at all? Like, anything that we should look out for? Because we're here to, kind of find out what's going on.
Well, there's been some individuals that visited in the last few months, and they seem to spend too long and too much solitude at the tree, and, well, we thought they were just paying homage. Everyone comes to visit the tree once or twice a year, just to, at least those of druid nature. And, well, we thought these people no different. But after a time, one day they left something, and we couldn't discern what it was because it was inside the tree herself.
Do these people look like rats?
What? No. Well, no.
Yeah, we found a weird rat cult in the city nearby. But anyways, okay, so the whatever's corrupting it's inside the tree. Do you know? And you have no idea what that might be?
Well, let me think. Maybe I can accurately tell you.
Nice vape cloud, Salvatore.
I be vaping. Less cigarette smoking. So.
It's good.
It seemed to be, well, I think some kind of sacrifice, like to the ooze patron.
Was there necrotic energy involved? Because we kind of stumbled upon a warlock on our way over here.
Well, yes, they were like acidic, and I would say necrotic. Yes. Very evil.
Evil!
He shudders as you all resound off one of each other, like some kind of maniacal chant.
Oh God, Jesus.
Sorry, we're just very adverse to evil. You're here to stop evil. Well, that's you provided us with some good information. Is there anything else we should know before we head to the tree and try to put an end to whatever this ooze sacrifice thing that's corrupting the tree is?
I believe there's another Genasi here. I saw him enter.
Another one other than our water Genasi pal?
Yes.
Am I still splashing around in this puddle over here?
Yeah, he looks over at you, and you're just piddle paddling in the water.
Are they all like that?
I look behind me. It's the only one I know, really.
Oh, Gaia, help us. Oh,
Well,
well,
we're gonna go investigate the tree. Do you want to come with us?
absolutely not. But you are more than welcome to take a rest here. I invite you. I appreciate your efforts. Thank you. I hope to hear what happens. Because, well, it's fucking haunted, bro.
We'll put an end to that haunting. All right, you have my word. As a doctor, Laszlo Remington will put an end to this corruption.
I poke my head inside, like, you won't be having to worry about intruders anymore from now on. We'll take care of all the evil.
Oh, thank
Yeah, what he said.
you. Here, I'll at least give you a parting gift.
And he runs back inside, and he's doing like a jog. Think of what Bigfoot looks like. He looks like a Sasquatch, is the best idea like I can give you. And so he's maybe 7 foot tall, covered in fur, kind of giving off that Chewbacca vibe. And so he walks back out.
Gift. This is an homemade healing potion. I made it out of some of the fungi.
I'll take it and like examine it just to make sure that it's like well made.
Well, you didn't take the alchemist feat, so you don't know what it is. I'm just kidding. Make an
I'm bitter.
I know. I just like the flavor of it. Anyway, make an medicine check. Seems good, bro.
Wow, thank you so much. I'll pocket it.
Okay.
If you need me, my name's Maku, and well, it was a pleasure to meet you.
And he gives a bow to the genasi that is splish splashing in the swamp puddle.
And okay,
I wave at him.
Yeah, we might take you up on your offer to rest here before we take the tree, but I think we're gonna look around first just to see like what's in the area, and get our bearings.
Okay, just if you ever need a rest, just knock fast twice, and then wait a second, and then knock once.
Knock fast twice, wait a second, and knock once. Okay, got it.
Yes, that's druid code.
Does that make me a druid now?
As far as I know, probably.
So he'll go back inside, close the door.
All
You said these mushrooms are edible, right?
Yes, they are. These ones especially.
Take some.
Yeah, go ahead and make a nature check.
Ooh, can I gather some as well to replenish my rations?
Yes, you may. Make a nature check.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Give me all the shrooms.
Bruce, you successfully cut 2, and Salvatore, you cut 2. Yeah, you both cut 2.
Sick.
And so
Rations.
these count as rations. So you basically got free rations. However,
Oh, that's the titty.
yeah, you could totally, if you prefer, give these to your alchemist friend, and he could try and makeshift something out of them.
Cook.
Yeah, can you cook something?
He could cook or make
like a
some kind of salve potion.
Breath of the
antitoxin.
Wild style.
Yeah, why not?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Great. And so you accompany Kai, and you look over at him, who's, looking at the swamp water. He kind of puts a finger in it, licks it, gets a nice taste. You can tell that there are, first and foremost, is a chest over here. And it is on the biggest lily pad in the swamp. And there are several lily pads that are kind of like just in front of it that would lead up to it, kind of like platforms.
I want to try to lasso it.
You want to lasso the chest?
I would first. Can I cast shape water to cause the water to float the lily pad towards the edge of the pond?
Oh yeah, do that.
Okay, go ahead and cast it, and then give me a nature check. And Alonso, do you have a lasso?
Nope. I was gonna tie the rope, but I don't want to let him do it because it was his idea first. I just want to know. I didn't want him to get in danger by trying to walk across it. But that's a good idea.
Nice. And so, yeah, you watch the water kind of erupt underneath, not violently, of course, but just kind of coalesce around this lily pad. And you notice something. Go ahead and make a perception check.
May I make a perception check as well as I was looking over that direction?
Sure.
I'll take the first one I accidentally took twice.
Yeah, so while Alonso is revving up his rope, he notes that that lily pad is attached to something underneath it. And so while you shape water underneath it and you begin to kind of like push and pull it towards you as if the waves were to escort it closer, it doesn't seem to want to budge. It's almost as if the water does coalesce and kind of like move and shift towards you, but the lily pad itself is stationary.
A little curious, huh?
I think that would be natural for a plant to have roots. Very foolish of me not to consider that.
Try to come over there, Kai.
And then how is that lily pad holding up the weight of that whole thing?
That is
doesn't
curious.
seem possible.
Do you want to go for the lasso there, Alonso?
Well, if anything, I'd like to, if you want to take the glory on this, I'd be happy to tie a lasso around your waist and you can hop out there. And if anything bad happens, we'll yank you back. But if you want, I can try to lasso it like a little bowl and we'll get it right back in real quick.
Why don't you throw it around me and I'll do my best to approach it.
All right, sounds good. Who here is good with their hands? Can help tie a rope real good. I'm not sure I'm too skilled, but I'd like to learn myself. See if one can help me really quick tie one.
I can tie a knot.
Do you want me to roll a second time or have him roll with me?
Yeah, for it to be super secure, somebody else roll to help. Yeah, and it does feel secure. Like it's wrapped around Kai. And Kai, you approve of it. These are sailors' knots that you've seen in your time.
Good knots, boys. Good knots.
They're nautical.
And go for it.
All right, I'm going to hop across these lily pads, maybe freezing myself a path if I need a little extra support.
Grab on, y'all.
Okay.
Grab the rope.
Who is grabbing the rope? Who's helping?
I'll get hands on it.
How many feet to make the loop around Kai are used up? Because there's a 50-foot rope.
10 foot. To make it super secure. It's like a harness, pretty much. Like you're you could pull them for sure.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Does this chest look like it could be the parent to the mimic that we just fought?
I'd like to. Is it possible to? I'd like to ready an action to yank him back if it turns out to be a mimic.
Yeah, sure. With your eight strength.
Idea.
Yeah.
I would so.
Yeah, I'm not holding the rope because I'm weak.
Whoever's holding.
I'll just be ready. I'll ready my crossbow just in case at whatever.
You watch.
Salvatore's helping, but he keeps his rapier out.
Okay. Yeah, you watch your roach friend Hubert spit in his hands, and it's like an acidic spit, and you note that it kind of like made his hands a lot more sturdy, like they hardened.
All right, let me at it. Let's go.
And so Milo, he readies a spell, and you all doubt him, so he doesn't reveal what spell. But it's ready. And so, Kai, go ahead and make your acrobatics check as you leap across these lily pads. What spell are you using to help you? You said a frost spell, right?
I can use shape water to create 5 square foot blocks of ice.
Nice.
And so if I need additional footholds, I was planning to freeze some footholds for myself.
Okay. So yeah, this would be considered difficult terrain. You are a very able swimmer. Like that would not be a problem with you, but you are taking the lily paths as as a path. And so as the second your foot hits the lily pad, you immediately go straight through. These are lily pads. And so taking note, you allow ice to form underneath them. So these lily pads, while they seem stationary, especially in the swamp, this murky mud water, you do need to accompany them with a block of ice underneath. So there are 2. We'll say that first one was you discovering. So now you'll need to make one more acrobatics check to jump over to that main platform. You do note that there's a very pretty flower at your feet. And so that 12 gets you...
suspicious.
Yeah, that gets you straight over and onto the platform. Go ahead and make an investigation check if you're going for the chest, or what's your plan?
Investigating the chest at this point.
Okay, how are you investigating it?
That's a great question. I'm just going to splash a little bit of water on it. See if I notice anything. Maybe give it just a tap on the top.
Okay.
You feel the rope get a little taut at your back. We get a little tense.
Yeah. And so as you splash water at it, the chest doesn't budge, and it seems to be a normal chest. However, at your feet, you hear a rumbling. And all of a sudden, a giant creature begins to rise out of the water, with Kai barely able to keep his footing. You note that a shambling mound has... Yeah, feel free. Make your strength saves. This giant elemental creature whom you're currently standing on, with the chest imbued in its back, reaches out and tries to engulf you.
Oh, yank. What was it? Acrobatics?
Yep. Or it's a strength save.
Yeah, what?
Strength save.
Just strength save? Okay.
Yeah.
Strength save, my bad. Disregard that.
Dang it, man.
Oh! And so you watch as you begin to pull, the rope almost snaps. It's starting to lose thread by thread as this engulfing monster wraps vines directly around Kai, and that's where we're gonna end it.
Where's Kai? Where's Kai saving
I'm
throw?
gonna shoot because I still have my thing. Does the chat stay here?
Kai!
Oh, sick.
Does
That
the
looks
chat stay
super
in
cool.
between sessions?
Say what? Oh yes, it will, unless I'm testing stuff. So yes, I will say, Kai, you will be making your saving throw at the start, and Chris, you'll have a ready to action, and Salvatore. Also, Hubert will attempt to save right now. Yeah, Hubert is kind of like the closest one, so he's really close to the edge. But he's able to keep the grip. The rest of you are kind of thrown forward.
I'm so excited for this.
Oh, baby.
The music was such a good build up.
Oh my god. This thing is so gross.
Yeah, good job, everybody.
I don't know if you guys played the early series, but it's very Fallout-esque right here.
Yay.